You are fat. You feel really bad. You hate your body. Every diet that you start falls apart. You have tried every diet that exists. You like eating sweets. You do not like going to the gym. You feel desperate many times. I know. I have been there a gazillion times. I was feeling exactly the way you feel. I was fighting myself for almost 2 decades. I battled silently with my reflection, trapped in frustration and self-doubt. Every failed diet added to my load of disappointment. Giving in to a sweet craving deepened my guilt. And the gym? Forget about it. The gym seemed like a stage for my insecurities. Like everyone there would just look at me and see all the things I wished I could change about myself. About a year ago, something changed. Actually, I have changed. I changed almost everything that I used to do in order to lose fat, and I started exploring the other side. I discovered that if I continued doing what I always did, it would give me the same results. I thought I had to change my lifestyle drastically. Fortunately, that was not the case. So after some time, I have put on my totally new techniques. Now I can run easily, I can dress the way I want, and most of all, I feel more confident than ever. Can you imagine that for yourself? In this video, I will expose the first hack that I adopted in my daily routine, which helped me to lose weight, and even more importantly, yes, you have guessed correctly, not gain it back. Let me know if this sounds familiar. It was a typical Monday morning, and like clockwork, I stepped onto the scale, anxious to gauge the aftermath of a weekend filled with indulgence. Yet, simultaneously, I hoped the number would be less dire than I feared. However, the scale delivered a harsh verdict. I had gained 3 kilograms, approximately 6 pounds, over the weekend. I was stunned. I hadn't anticipated it being so severe. The week began on a sour note, my mood plummeting to its lowest. I lacked the motivation to dress up or even leave my house. The whole day I ate as much as I could, like I wanted to punish myself even more for this high number. The shock of the number on the scale prompted a decision. I refused to let such figures demoralize me any longer. Protecting my mental well-being became a priority. Thus, I resolved to ditch the scale altogether. This marked the first step in my journey toward embracing self-care and fostering inner harmony. I recognized the necessity of removing the scale from my daily routine. While some may grasp the rationale behind this decision, I feel compelled to elaborate further, as many individuals acknowledge the detrimental impact of relying on the scale for weight loss progress, yet persist in doing so. But why? The scale can only measure weight in kilograms. It cannot measure your determination to succeed. With that being said, in the world of numbers, the scale merely records kilograms or pounds, overlooking elements such as willpower and determination to achieve our goals. With 2 simple questions, consider how futile daily weighing may be. Do you measure your height every day? I imagine the answer to this question is no. The second question, following the first, aims to make you think, why then do you measure your weight every day? I imagine the answer to this would also be something like, weight changes, height does not. If we don't measure our height daily, then why dedicate our time to weighing ourselves? The numbers displayed on the scale are just numbers. They cannot reflect our will, the effort we've put in, the foods we've eaten the previous day, month, year, and whether they were nutritious for our bodies or not. They also do not reflect our overall well-being, health, and physical condition. A number that changes daily, kilograms or pounds, gained or lost. Daily stepping on the scale is a treadmill that only causes psychological stress in the morning and nothing more. The only certainty is that if one pays attention to their diet and observes their body, they may never have to measure their weight again in their life. For most of human history, there were no scales, without this being an obstacle to maintaining an ideal body shape. It is possible to achieve and maintain our well-being and shape without the daily stress of the scale. Since I personally cut the cord that ties me to the scale, I have discovered that my inner world balances with greater harmony. I am calmer without waking up with the anxiety of what the scale will show, and this does not affect my mood. I eat as much and whenever I want, simply being careful not to exceed limits. And because we are human, and sometimes we do exceed them, if I eat more on one day, the next day I will try to balance it out. Also, I understand better what I eat and its consequences on my body, good or bad. I no longer have clothing categories, those for under and those for over certain kilograms, and I'm not trying to fit into sizes much smaller than mine. But most importantly, I realized something very important. In the end, it doesn't matter how many kilograms you are, but how you feel at those kilograms. It is practically impossible for there to be ideal weights for every height. Our ideal kilograms cannot be determined by an external factor, but only by our own sense of how we feel. Many will wonder what someone's ideal weight really is, and this was something that personally occupied me quite a bit. Which external factor can answer this question? Two different people of the same size should also have the same weight. Have you spotted a mistake? I have. In letting the scale define how we should be. What is my ideal weight? Honestly, I don't know. It's been a long time since I stepped on the scale. What I want to say is that the scale prevented me from listening to how I truly feel. If it showed something that wasn't acceptable, it marked the end of my psychology and the end of my day. The whole day, I would be feeling low. Now that I am more present, I wake up in the morning and think about how I feel. I wear clothes depending on my mood. And so my day starts, simple and nice. My need to feel good about my body makes me make more conscious choices regarding my dietary choices. I will hardly eat a large amount, and the reason is that I don't want to feel bloated afterward. Before I eat something, I think enough to be sure that this won't cause me sadness later. And indeed, that's what matters, to feel good. To be able to move, do our daily activities, work, physical and mental exercise, etc., feeling comfortable with our body. Our physical well-being gives us overall joy throughout the day. So I threw away the scale, and now I'm sure. How I feel is my new scale. So clearly, I believe that if you insist on checking your weight, it should be at most once a week. For example, on Monday and Tuesday, you may have eaten more. On Wednesday and Thursday, you have time to balance things again. Whereas when you check your weight every day, a possible imbalance doesn't have time to correct itself, and your psychology is affected. As an extra tip, you can even perform weigh-ins at the nearby pharmacy to avoid temptation. This practice will help you focus on your well-being, rather than being slaves to numbers. Anticipating the next thought that will come to your mind, or at least the one that would come to mine, I'll tell you, yes, step on the scale with clothes on. And those kilos will be your new reference point. And that's okay. Start with removing the scale from your daily life and follow me for more totally unconventional tips and tricks that made me lose 15 kilos and keep them away. Till next, Morning Gorgeous.